Well, hello there, and welcome back, everyone, to another Magic the Gathering Commander deck profile. I'm BuckerBrad96, and if Ghost Trick was my pet deck for Yu-Gi-Oh!, then this deck right here is my pet deck for Magic. Of course, I'm talking about the Ponies the Galloping Extra Life crossover. What an amazing set. You know, it went to a great cause with Extra Life, and honestly, this has got to be my favorite crossover of Magic. One could consider me a brony, but I wouldn't really consider myself one, just like the art style, and you know, these are characters that were hand in hand from Hasbro for a very long time. That being said, I definitely want to get into the deck. It is fun, it is janky, it is crazy, and it is all about killing your opponents with friendship. So, starting off with the deck's commander, we have Princess Twilight Sparkle herself. She is Azorius colors, so white and blue for a 2/2 flying Aliacorn. Other Aliacorns, horses, Pegasi, ponies, and unicorns you control get +1/+1, which makes her a formidable tribal commander, which is kind of what this deck leans to, but I'll get into that later. And then you can pay Wooburg, and if you control Applejack, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity, every pony wins the game. For Rule 0 decks, that's about as fun as it gets. You can have every pony win, and that is the object of this deck. However, if you're playing with people that don't want to be your friend, well, this deck has other win conditions as well. So going ahead and getting on with the list, I will start off with the mana base. This is a pretty hunky one. Pretty sure I'm at 40 cards if I counted correctly before this video. So yeah, pretty lengthy, but it is 5 color, so you need as much, mana as you can get, and it's very mana heavy because of the deck's other win condition, which is clearly going to be Maze's End. You know, if you have 10 or more gates with different names, you win the game. So I have a few ways and a few synergies to kind of get towards this win condition if everybody can't win. And then for the rest of the gates, I run the Azorius Guild Gate, Baldur's Gate, shout out to D&D, the Basilisk Gate, the Boros Guild Gate, Citadel Gate, Dimir Guild Gate. I actually use all of the Ravnica Guild Gates, so Golgari, and the Gone Gate, which is the most important, and it really makes this mana base possible because I did a lot of net decking and watched a ton of videos on budget 5-color mana bases. The Gate deck, the Gate mana base was one, and then the Prof hit me up. You know, I watched a few of the Professor's videos and really had me thinking about the tapped lands, the tapped cycles, or fetches, if you will. So this is kind of a mix of all kinds of ideas from various YouTubers and influencers to make it work. So then, Gruul Guild Gate, the Heap Gate, Izzet Guild Gate, or Izzet, Orzhov, Rakdos, the Sea Gate. So I did run the Baldur's Gates for blue and white, Selesnya, along with, Basilisk, Gond, Heap, all of those, Simic, and now then just some utility lands that are really good for the game of Commander. So obviously Command Tower and Exotic Orchard. Had to get the Secret Lair, Hatsune Miku. Splurged for a few cards in this deck just to make it a little more special. Now then, for the basics, I'm running 3 forests, 2 islands, 2 mountains, 3 plains, and 2 swamp. A bulk of this deck, because it's mainly ramp and trying to get out all of the gates that you need, it's honestly more of a green-white deck than a white-blue primary deck. For the tapped fetches, got this from the Professor's videos. So Bad River, Grasslands, Mountain Valley, and Rocky Tar Pit. Not as good as the real fetch lands, but they will do in a budget. And then for the budget dual lands, if you will, Canopy Vista, Cinderglade, Prairie Stream, Smoldering Marsh, and lastly, Sunken Hollow to round everything up. And that does it for the land. Hopefully that's a good 5-color mana base. I'm not really sure. I've been playtesting and I pull off the win conditions. You know, I pull off everything, so I think that's a good sign. But honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe I could do better. Who knows? Let me know in the comments down below. Now then, for mana rocks and utility artifacts, so Soul Ring, obviously a must. Arcane Cedh, the Azorius Cedh. So I use all the Cedhs that have white, kind of giving the deck some kind of color synergy. So Boros, Orzhov, and Selesnya, along with the Arcane and then Soul Ring. And I do have Chromatic Lantern because that just makes all of your lands whatever you want them to be. Navigation Orb. It's pretty much a Cultivate, but for gate cards. You know, you get one onto the battlefield, one into your hand. And then the ponies, you know, gotta accessorize my ponies. So I have some boots, the Lava Spur, and Swift Foot. You know, kind of helps with protecting them as well in a pinch. Now then, for the rest of the silver bordered ponies, and then of course the creatures. So starting off, I do have, obviously, Pinkie Pie. You gotta have all of them. So that's really cool that Wizards had a second drop series that gave us the rest of the pony names we needed. Otherwise, you couldn't pull this off except for some convoluted mimicry cards. Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, Applejack, which Applejack makes toys you control count. So that's why all of these are back here. These are actually the figures I use as the toys, and they can work towards Princess Twilight's win condition, which is really huge for the deck. After that, I have Nightmare Moon, and then an honorary pony just because it was part of the set. It is Discord, Lord of Disharmony. In case you're wondering, those watching, for Discord, the play ruling is I bring up a Magic the Gathering random card generator, and then it generates a card, and then that is the card I can play until the next end step. And then for Nightmare Moon, or Princess Luna, I have what I call my moon board, and here are the 6 cards with moons in the art that I use. So I have a copy of Moon Mist, Winter Moon, Imprisoned in the Moon, Moonhold, Paraceline, and Merciless Eviction. I definitely want to get a copy of Blood Moon to swap out for one of those, but that card is a little pricey, so holding off on that one. Now for the rest of the creatures, I have Caustic Bronco, Khalith, the Sunmane Familiar, Ronom Unicorn, Surge Mare, the Good Fortune Unicorn, Opaline Unicorn, Plague Mare, Plated Pegasus, Splendor Mare, the Wavebreak Hippocamp, Bill the Pony, Bill the Pony, Emil the Blessed, Lathiel the Bounteous Dawn, Loyal Unicorn, Phantom Steed, the Crested Sunmare, actually Secret Lair, so it fits perfectly with the theme of the deck, Shadowfax, the Lord of Horses, Calamity, Galloping Inferno, and then to finish off the creatures, I have a copy of Carnival Hellsteed. So that does it for the ponies and all the tribal goodness. For the rest of the cards of the deck, so starting off with Enchantments, I have a Crackling Perimeter that I might swap out for Hold the Gates, but for now that's just a way to tap a gate to deal 1 damage to a target. Guild Summit, again, gate card synergy, lets us draw. Rising of the Day, almost all of the creatures in the deck are legendary, so why not? Song of Creation, another Hatsune Miku crossover card, and honestly, really good late game. When I don't have any cards in hand, that comes in clutch. For ramp, I have a copy of Open the Gates, Farseek, Time of Need to tutor out some ponies, Cultivate, gotta have ramp, Ring Sight as another cheap tutor alternative, Circuitous Route, again, gotta have the gate ramp. Diabolic Tutor, it is a card with Smile in the art, so it does help with Pinkie Pie getting treasure tokens, and it is a cheap tuner. Or, not tuner, thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! It is a cheap tutor, which in Commander, 4 cost isn't too awful. After that, it is a Shard Convergence, All Suns Dawn, Time Wipe, Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, which is pretty neat. If all of my ponies are in the graveyard, I slap this on the field, and they all return because they're all legendary creatures. A copy of Conflux. It's a really high-cost tutor, but, you know, it can potentially get every pony I need, so that's why it's in here. The out-and-out win condition of the deck, because reshape the earth and any amount of, like, 9 or more gates, and you win it. So for 9 mana, you just put 10 land onto the battlefield. I don't know how this isn't banned in Commander. It honestly probably should be, but I threw it in here because this is a Rule 0 deck, and why not? I gotta give the deck some, like, actual power. Never know the play group you're gonna play with. Ecological Appreciation. And then now, going on to the instances just to finish up the deck, and pretty much the only interaction this deck has. So I have a copy of Condemn, Return to Nature, Chaos Warp, Mortify, and Return to Dust. I know, a lot to be desired with my removal. I could definitely change things around, get some better cards in here. But Magic is pricey, and I am into like 5 or 6 different hobbies right now. So some things have to be put on hold, and some things I kind of just budget out to make do. But that does it for my look at Magic the Gathering's and My Little Ponies crossover. I hope you all enjoyed this deck list, or profile if you will, and hopefully in the future I will be able to record some, play testing and actual games where you can all see this deck in action. But until next time, everyone,